Have you changed your outlook on how to handle entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Mr. President? It seems like something has to be done, or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting, and in terms of also the theft and the bad management of entitlements, tremendous bad management of entitlements. There's tremendous amounts of things and numbers of things you can do. So I don't, necessarily agree with the statement.
Okay, so that's not great, is it? I mean, if you are on Social Security, if you intend to someday retire, that's not great to hear the guy who was already the president and tried to cut Social Security at the time saying that he plans to do it in the future. And bear in mind, he's not even doing like the nuance thing where he's like, oh, we're not gonna, it's not about cutting. It's, and it's not about anybody who's on it or likely to be on it. Just, stupid young people, we'll make them work longer before they can retire. He just straight up said, there's things you can do with cutting. He is so lacking in subtlety or nuance. There's no artifice to that. He's going to cut Social Security. And this is a big change from where he has postured on this topic before.
Before we continue with the story, we depend on members to keep on going. Don't wait. Click join now on YouTube.
Take a look at this.
And as I said for many years, I will always protect Medicare and Social Security, which others are not able to do, like Joe Biden. You're not going to have it. It's going to be gone. It's Joe Biden who's destroying them, and he is doing it with a migrant invasion. This migrant invasion is much more dangerous than you think in so many other ways. Do not cut the benefits our seniors worked for and paid for their entire lives. Save Social Security. Don't destroy it. The Democrats are looking to destroy Social Security. We're not going to let them do it.
Okay, that was a strong stance that he apparently does not hold anymore. It was convenient for him in the primary. This is always what Trump does. He takes these populist, quote unquote, populist positions during the primary to make himself look cool in comparison to other Republicans. And he did that this time around, saying Ron DeSantis voted 3 times to cut and destroy Social Security. And then he goes on and he's talking about others that tried to do this. And now he doesn't have to contend with them. And he's right back to his actual position, which is we're gonna cut it. That nobody gets to be surprised by this. He did the same thing in 2016. He campaigned on protecting it, and then he tried to cut it. That's what his last budget literally did. We'll show you the numbers. And now he's doing the same thing. It reminds me of when Joe Biden talked about the Republicans in the State of the Union cutting Social Security, and they all went, "Boo, we wouldn't do that." And he's like, "Oh, that's interesting. You're not planning on doing that." Because they are planning on doing that, Rayyvana. This is always the way it works. I don't know why people, especially older people who are more close to relying on this, don't understand the game that keeps getting played.
Right, especially to live in the state of Florida and to embrace apparently the messaging of cutting, the most popular entitlement programs that our country offers, things that have lifted so many elderly people out of poverty. I mean, the reason why we have significantly reduced our rate of elderly people living in poverty in this country. And from a young age, I was told that you find a job with a pension or try to make as much money as possible, because you will not get Social Security. And I'm sort of resigned, I'll fight for it tooth and nail, but it's sort of been, fed into my generation that we will not get to retire with dignity. And politicians love to say, well, people, life expectancy is longer now, but that's not actually an issue for administering these programs, because first of all, life expectancy has gone down a little bit in this country, but life expectancy hasn't gone up because people are living so much longer into their lives. They're living to be 100 or 115 years old. It's because we've reduced infant mortality. So that does not play the same as you should be able to work until you're 70 or 80 years old. In fact, it should be the exact opposite of that then. But it's just an absurd lie that they use to push their agenda of cutting Social Security, and they have to come at it, from a careful approach, because it has always been referred to as the third rail in politics. It is something that is so deeply despised and unpopular, and that's exactly what you were pointing out. Why the Republicans at the State of the Union were like, us? No, not us. We would never do that.
Yeah, 100%. But I get why they try to hide it. If we could just show one more graphic, we'll jump to the last graphic. When you ask people, do you oppose cutting Social Security for Americans under 50? So this isn't just like in general. Like when they try to do the thing where they're like, we're only going to cut it for young people, 82% oppose it. That is maybe the most unified the American people have ever been on a topic, is don't cut it for young people. We want to retire someday. Well, now Donald Trump has provided the Biden campaign all they need to throw that into an ad. In the same way that he brags about killing Roe v. Wade, he's saying there's a lot you can do in terms of cutting. Okay, we'll see how that plays with older voters. Have fun with that.